Good evening, viewers, and welcome again to Discovering Truth. And I am Pastor Forbes from the Gateway, Abiding Word Ministries in the Gambia. And a happy new year to us all, with our prayers for a fruitful year, a year of great advancement, achievement, progress, increase, tangible, measurable development in all we do for our country. I am excited because I think and I believe very strongly that whenever we come to a new year, it's as if God presses the reset button and we start afresh. It's almost like saying when you want to reformat the hard drive of your laptop, or you want to clean it, you press something that really asks you, are you sure? Because once you do that, you get into factory preset and everything, data and all, is wiped away. Of course, I am aware that now we can store things in the cloud and bring them back. But I'm thinking that in 2018, we really just want to press that reset button and forget about what is in the cloud, because all the things that are in the cloud are stored old information. It's 2017, it is gone. It is what a dear pastor friend of mine will call a cancel check. You cannot use it again. And the joy and the beauty of 2018 is that we all start on the same footing. We all do on your marks and we move. And of course, admittedly now, we have clocked about almost 42 hours already in 2018. But I am hopeful. I am convinced in my heart, because I know God's plans for our country and for the people that make up the country are plans of good and never for evil. I also want to say that I listened to the 31st December speech by His Excellency the President into January 1st yesterday, and there are key issues that I heard him talk about. The most important one was to enumerate 5 priority areas for the transitional government, and obviously 2018 will be part of that. And I had him say energy and infrastructure was priority. I had him say agriculture is priority, health is priority, education and youth empowerment is priority, and tourism is priority. I believe that inside these 5, especially if they are fleshed out well, there will be definite progress by 31st December this year. And somewhere in the speech, I had him call upon sectoral leadership in terms of ministries, departments, and agencies. And I'm sure that means parastatals and maybe even non-governmental support agencies, that if we all work together and give leadership oversight and not delegate and abdicate, that there will be progress. As I said sometime last week, I was in a place when somebody said, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And I know it's a favorite phrase. A popular musician who died some time ago sang it. It's because you just don't go to heaven because you die. You have to live the life that God wants you to live. But I understand. And paraphrasing what he says is that we all want the best outcomes, but the sacrifice that we have to pay, not many people are ready for it. And sacrifice must be seen from the leadership. There is no way I, as a pastor of Abiding Word Ministries, as a founding pastor, can ask the followership and my leadership and my associate pastors to do something that I don't seem to be convicted in or convinced in what I'm doing. So this is great, but it's going to start from the top. The sacrifice, the determination, and everything must start from the top. Most times we are taught that growth is a bottom-top approach, but really, in the words of global guru John Maxwell, he says everything falls and rises on leadership. If it's good, it's leadership. If it's bad, it's leadership. Why? Because leadership must be exemplary. Leadership must be integrous. It must have integrity, and it must be the one that leads. In another phrase by a well-known global preacher, Bishop T.D. Jakes, he had a conference some many years ago entitled Leading While Bleeding. And if you are in leadership in any sort, and definitely in spiritual leadership, if you are genuine, you are not fake, you will know that that is probably a phrase that describes spiritual leadership. That while you are bleeding yourself, you are leading. People come to you for hope. They come to you for strength. Some people want you to give them money. Some people feel you are the answer to all their world's problems. And what they are requiring and requesting from you, and sometimes demanding from you, is what you are also crying to God for. And you are looking at them and saying, if only they know that what they are asking for is the very same thing that you are asking for. But that is why you are a leader. It assumes that you are ready to take the bullet. It assumes that you are ready to take the fight. I remember also many years ago, I was in a conference where a preacher told a story, I don't know whether it's true, about a particular captain of a ship. It's almost like the thing that happens with the Somali pirates, that whenever they noticed that the pirate ships were coming, he will call for his red shirt and put his red shirt, and him and his sailors will fight and ward off the pirates. And later he was asked why. He said the reason he asked for his red shirt was that if they hit him with a bullet or they cut him, the color of his blood will be masked by the color of his red shirt, because if his men see that he is wounded, they may lose confidence in their ability to rescue the ship. So as a leader, you lead while you are bleeding. It means it is required in leadership to bleed. It is required in leadership to sacrifice. It is not required in leadership to fleece the people at any level, spiritual or otherwise. And so sectoral leadership, ministries, departments, agencies, office of the president, state house, everywhere, all of us together, once we say we are in leadership, we must be the ones to push it, because once you push it, you are an example and others will follow through. If I were asked, Pastor Forbes, what would you want to chip in for 2018 for the nation? I will say I really agree with the presidential speech, and I'll probably agree with estimates of companies and franchises and institutions and New Year resolutions and everything everybody says. What I would chip in would be the shift of our mindset, the thinking that goes on in our head, the Gambian psyche, the things that we would have to shift and paradigm in for transformation to happen. It has been said more than enough times that if you do the same things that you have been doing, you are going to get the same results that you have been getting. In other words, results are outcomes of reactions of things we do. And so results can be engineered. Results can be predicted. There is a scripture in the Bible that says, have you seen somebody who is diligent in all his work? The result is that he or she will stand before kings and queens and people of renown, and he or she will not stand before obscure and mean people. The standing before kings and queens and people of great global renown is because of his diligence, his intentionality, a sense of determination, a sense of priority, a sense of being able to delineate between peripheral social issues that are not adding value to your life, and the fact that you give yourself time and a vision-driven, directional push for your life. As a matter of fact, the person who is credited with that statement gave that statement as his definition of insanity, that if you keep doing the same thing all over all the time and you expect different results, according to him, you are insane. In other words, you are mad, you are crazy. Now, I believe we are not mad, we are not crazy. We have the desire for great things. Sometimes you hear a speech You hear an end of year speech. You hear a pep talk at the beginning of the year. The boss calls everybody, the line manager calls everybody, the chairman of the board, the presidential speech, the New Year's resolution, the heads of religious denominations. Globally, we all speak. The Pope has spoken, the Queen's speech, Macron has spoken, President Trump, and we all get fired up. But that goes nowhere when we do not change our mindset. And folks, the truth is that we look with our eyes, but we see with our minds. The Bible says clearly in a statement, it's part of a story, but the statement can be taken to the bank because it's in the Bible. And this is how it goes in the book called Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 7. For as he thinks in his heart, so he is. So the proof of what I desire for Abiding Word Ministries, the proof for what you desire for your family, the proof for your New Year's resolution, the proof for the national speech and the blueprint and the roadmaps and everything that we do, the proof has to come in our mindset. First, do we believe it's possible? Or are we saying, that is a mindset, and that's something we hear. Now, there are phrases we hear all over, almost every day. If there is no one word you will hear in the Gambia, you hear diaspora. It's probably the most used word now in the Gambia, diaspora. Now, what is the mindset of the diaspora? And how does it interface with the local mindset? If we bring the two mindsets together, will there be a fight or will there be a synergy? Which is to be preferred, and how can we merge them? Because the diasporan mindset is a Gambian diaspora mindset, albeit in Europe. The local mindset is a Gambian, so the LCM between the diaspora and the local is Gambian. As the Gambian thinks, so the Gambian is. So if I fast track you to 364 days from now, the end of 2018, anything we can see in the Gambia are not sugar-coated macroeconomic figures and all the things that a lot of us know nothing about. The tangible progress that I can feel will happen because we shifted and we paradigmed in the way we think as Gambians. Because the way I think will affect how I work. If I am a possibility thinker, I will see a problem as an opportunity. I will not be arguing that the glass is half full. I will not even be arguing that the glass is half empty. With a progressive mindset, I will be saying, thank God the glass even has water. At least it has something. It's not full, it's not empty, but it has something. But if I stand and saying, well, it's half empty, it's half full, and according to my perspective, I will be right. But I'll be missing. What makes it half full or half empty is the content. And ladies and gentlemen, content is the most important thing that you want. You can eat, you can go to the supermarket and buy anything you want, but chances are you are not going to eat the packaging. It's the content. And if the content does not deliver on the glossiness of the packaging, you feel deceived and that your statutory rights have been affected. So we need to change our thinking. We need to have possibility thinking. We need to develop our thinking more. Last couple of weeks, I've had people talking about reading. We must have a culture of reading. Yes, because the more you read, the more you expand your mindset and your worldview. And we are in the time of the world where nothing is hidden anywhere. Anything you want to know, you can know. If you search diligently and read enough, one server will take you to another server. You will connect and get all the information you want. It's possible now for people to do I know they don't do O-levels anymore, But in my time, it was O-level. It's possible for you to do O-levels, WASI, IB, IGCSE, whatever it's called now, at grade 12 on your own by reading, and you can make a distinction because it's all there now. There are dictionaries that you'll see a word and the word is funny, but you'll see a volume sign in it. And when you press that volume sign on your laptop or your iPad or your iPhone, it will pronounce it for you. So you have no excuse not to be able to pronounce somebody's name. I am told that there is a particular department in the BBC and some global news television and radio stations where they actually teach you how to pronounce. So you need to know whether the word is issue or issue, and when it can be issue and when it can be issue, when it's appreciation or appreciation. You can't just come to the radio or the television and say Mr. Fox or Forbes. There is something that will teach you it's Forbes. And so, but if you desire for that, you will get it. If you don't desire for it, but you think it's okay, they won't notice. It's my culture, it's my language, it's my gender, I am not by Tobab. Then we can have all these wonderful expectations. By 2018, we will just read another new one for 2019, but we wouldn't have gone. There is a verse in the Bible that goes like this, in a book called Jeremiah. The verse goes like this: the harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. Now, harvest is not a day. And summer, if my mind serves me well, summer, I think, is about 10 weeks to 12 weeks. If it's 10 weeks, a week is 7 days. So that's 70 days passed, and there was no change in them. Some were arguing. Some could just not be bothered. Some feel that if they stand by the roadside, somebody will give them money. Some are rubbing their hands because they know their uncle is going to retire from a global international company. Some are waiting for remittance from Darfur and Sudan. And that is a mindset. If in 2018, somebody knocks on your door and says, "Sir, I haven't finished my schooling, I need help." And you tell him that, "Well, I'm going to help you on Friday. Today is Tuesday. Give me your number so I can call you on Friday." If the person gives you Comium, Africell, Gamcell, Qcell, chances are they have at least 2 cell phones. Can they start by selling those cell phones if they really committed? Because until you show your own involvement in what you want, why should somebody take you serious? Here we have a national budget that less than 50% is going to come from inside. So that means more than 50% of what we require for 2018 to be a clapping and a dancing year is going to come from outside. But outside must see that we are serious. In the Bible, when God was giving Adam his wife, God saw that the animals could not satisfy his innermost desires. That's why bestiality and all this funny, strange behavior called alternative lifestyle or whatever is just so, it's unbelievably shocking. Because Adam, in his intelligence, was able to name all the animals in their pairs, but it says there was not a suitable helper found for Adam. And God said, "It is not good for this man to be like that. His loneliness will drive him mad. I'm going to create a helper, or a suitable helper, or a helpmeet." A helper is not somebody to whom you abdicate your responsibility. A helper is somebody who comes and finds you 75% down the road with meager resources. You are struggling, you are sweating. It's like you are doing so much, and their 25% will help you and ease the burden and tip you over to 100. A helper is not somebody who comes and finds you doing 0 and you want him to help you. That's not a helper, that's an owner. A helper is not somebody that you are going to do 5% and they want to do 95%. That's a majority shareholder. They own it. So if we are going to have that mindset that help will come, assistance will come, multilaterals will come, bilaterals will come. We belong to all kinds of organizations. Some we do, some we don't know. We don't even know whether we really need to be in all of them. But If they're going to come on board, let them see that you're committed to your vision. Let them see that in 2018, we are committed to our own vision. Papa, them have them America, them have them school. Well, when was the last time you read a book? What is your CV? What are you doing with your life? Because what you cannot do local, you cannot jump and do global. What you do not grow in, gradually you cannot keep. We have a 22-year history to teach us that. And so we have enough for us to say in this early, less than 48 hours of this year, I'm going to have a paradigm shift. Some things have to change. We've heard about government vehicles, that only the minister and the PS must have official vehicles. Only the minister and maybe the PS can travel at a certain club. We hear all those things. As they say in English, are they going to be observed more in the breach than in the compliance? And do we understand why we are doing that? Our understanding is that the world does not owe us a free lunch. If energy and infrastructural development are going to be the order of the day, then it also means there's going to be a maintenance culture somewhere along the line. There's going to be some reorientation of how we think. Who owns what? If health, if agriculture, if youth empowerment, tourism, education, if there's going to be shift in all these areas, and they definitely have to shift if our nation is going to progress, then we have to tell ourselves that these are the things that cause a shift. And I know we've done countless study tours globally. We're probably amongst the most traveled people in the world, looking at all kinds of study cases. How about implementation? If we go next door, which is really the same topographical area, what is the difference? We need to look in. If the oil starts being drilled, according to some reports, maybe unfounded, I do not know, if by the end of 2018, the black gold starts coming, are we going back to those days when I remember that we ate rice and we threw it, and Banjul was full of rice all over the place because we didn't see the future? This is now 52 years of an independent nation. Are we food self-sufficient? Do we have enough rice? Are we still importing? We have names, popular names of popular projects that we have had: First Republic, Second Republic, and now Third Republic. Is there anything there? Supposing the decision was made that we should all eat Gambian grown rice, are we ready for that? Because chances are, because of lack of subsidy, the Gambian grown rice will be more expensive than the imported rice. If we are committed to it, are we ready to do it? Because every country that we import rice from started where we are. Every place that we praise started. We talk about the Singaporeans maybe until their ears keep ringing. We talk about the Malaysians, the South Koreans. Attending a forum not too long ago, somebody who is in the know was telling us that at a particular time, what the GDP of a particular country is today is what we were 22 years ago. So they have climbed to where they are, and we have dropped to where they used to be in 22 years. Now, is this 22 special years, 22 African years, 22 black years? No, it's 22 years. And so everywhere we go, there are forums, there are confabs, there are things going on, and we are celebrating sons and daughters of the soil who have done well. A little question I want to ask: those sons and daughters, were they made here, Or were they thrown from here and made outside, and now we are celebrating them? If that is so, why? And whatever causes that, we must nip that in the bud. Now, if those sons and daughters, diasporan as we call them, that we are celebrating, come home and set up shop, and they understand that what made them where they are is a sense of punctuality, is a sense that time is money, there is no free lunch, you must clock the hours, you must meet the deadlines, you must put work before play, chances are we will fight ourselves. But we want their money. But we want what they have. And they will tell you that they worked in the snow. They worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 16 hours. So if we really want this thing to happen, we must break away determinedly and daringly from all bad Gambian habits and take a new set of habits. I'm not just talking about it, the new Gambia, the coalition Gambia, but all the way to the individual Gambian, deciding that we're going to make it happen. And under God, we will. And let me end by saying the Bible clearly says in 3 places, and they're all in the gospel: Matthew chapter 9, verse 17, Mark's gospel chapter 2, verse 2, Luke's gospel chapter 5, verse 37. Nobody takes new wine and puts it into an old wineskin, because the receptacle is inadequate, inept, discredited, decrepit, cannot handle this thing. So you have to change. In those days, you have to bring a new wineskin. Our wineskin is the Gambian mindset. We have to change it so the new Gambian can breathe and exhale. And that way, all that we say we are going to do will happen. Until by the grace of God, I come our way next week in this early 2018 year. God bless us all. Happy New Year to us all. May we walk in progress, but let's make this shift so that all we desire in these 5 areas and more will come to pass. Have a good evening. God bless us all, and good night.